Welcome to another episode of Wisdom Wednesday. It is when we have expert speaker coming in to share with us their expertise to help us to become more self-efficient and to learn about the tools that we need to overcome life challenges. And one of the life challenges as being a woman is being a mom. Okay, I'm a pet mom. I already have enough dealing with my cat. I really don't know how people deal with kids. Okay. I love kids, don't hate them. It's just that when they cry, I give it back to their mom. That's how I actually see it. And I understand the stress it is involving children, how to actually prevent ourselves from screaming and yelling at them and controlling our emotion. It is one thing that I see a lot of parents actually struggle. So today I have an expert here for you. Natalie, thank you so much for coming onto our show. Please tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much, Martha. It's lovely to be here. Thanks for having me. So, I am Natalie Ventura. My business is See Me Circle, and I am a mindful parenting coach. So, what that basically means is I help mums and dads, but mostly predominantly mums, yell less and connect more with their kids so that they can have a more harmonious relationship, that family life is not chaos all the time. So I bring in a bit more calm and show them how to do that too. So
Yeah, it is hard, isn't it? Being a parent, you have work, you have a partner, you have a house, you have all of those things that you need to do. So why do you think that we have trouble controlling ourselves and like start yelling to people and our kids?
yeah, well, there's a few reasons, but the main reasons are we feel like our kids aren't listening to us. So we might say something a few times and they're just not doing what we've asked. They're not listening at all. They're totally ignoring us. And we get really triggered by that for a couple of reasons. Sometimes it can be because it brings up our own stuff about what happened to us when we were kids. Like, especially for me, I was like, I've got two boys. I had two younger brothers. So when my boys are fighting or not listening to me, I like go straight back to that place of when I was little and my brothers were fighting and no one was listening to me. So we feel really like no one cares about me. No one's listening to me. And it's our own children. Like we're like, they should be like always listening to me. We have these like idealized perfectionist like ideas in our mind. And when it's not happening, we get really triggered, like, listen. And then we start yelling to get attention. And then after a while, we feel like the only way we can get our kids to listen to us is because we're yelling. But it's not, it's just we've got into these bad habits of doing that. And it's not our fault at all. It's completely normal. It's completely normal to feel like if someone's not listening to me, I need to do something to get them to listen, especially, like I said, when it's our own kids. So yelling is one of the main things that parents do. Yeah,
Mm.
to get that
So yeah, I
attention.
hear you. Like, I think that you explain it really well as well that when because we're not being able to be listened, we start yelling as a child. And we see a lot of the times that we see our parents do exactly the same thing and we
Mhm.
do learn from it. And then we think, okay, since this is how I was being taught, this must be the right way to do things. So what can mums or parents do to realize that that is what's happening? Like, how do help them to have that recognition and that acknowledgement
Mm.
without blame, put it that way?
Yes, without blame, absolutely. And a lot of the time, especially the parents that come to me, they're like, I don't want to do the same things that my parents did to me. And I know that was definitely the case for me. I'm like, when I noticed as a parent, my son's nearly 11 now, but when his brother was born and he's 8, so 8 years ago, I noticed I started yelling. And I'm like, I don't want to be a parent who yells. Like, that's like the complete opposite. And that's where, like you said, you don't want to bring that blame in, but parents start going, but this isn't how I want to be. I want to be a different parent, but they don't know how because it's all they've been shown is how to, you yell at your kids and you have to, the kid has to listen. So bringing in awareness of what it is, the main reasons why you're yelling. Like for me, I noticed it was like sibling stuff. For other people, it can be different things. It can be, they might have been always told as a child, you have to just do exactly what I say straight away, and you don't get to have any emotions or anything about that. So if they see their child crying, it really, really triggers them. They're like, no, you're not allowed to cry. So those things, if you start noticing them throughout your day, you can, I like to say, just if it's like, I don't know how to change, I don't know what's triggering me, I say, just get a little tracker, just have a little notebook and go, oh yeah, I yelled when this happened, and try to go work backwards from there. It's like, okay, I yelled, but what happened before that? What happened before that? And what was I actually thinking when I yelled? Was I thinking my kids never listen to me? Was I thinking they shouldn't cry? Was I thinking, siblings should never fight? And that's when your own childhood stories start to come up, because when you look at them on paper, like, that doesn't make any sense. Of course, they're a little kid, they're going to cry, or their siblings, they're going to fight. It's just part of what it's like. So that's how I would say bring in that recognition of what's actually happening, and have compassion for yourself as well when it does happen, because it's just part of normal life. Like, we yell, we get triggered, it's not about then blaming, putting on extra blame. We've already got enough mum guilt happening in our lives. We don't need to add any more to it by, going, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I'm the worst mum possible. Like, yeah, yeah.
I hear you, because it is so hard to control our emotions, especially when we are on high emotion. And I understand that how kids can trigger us. Like for me, I don't like dirtiness, and then I see them dropping some food on the floor or something like that. I'm like, oh my god! And then they started to pick it up again and put it in their mouth. I'm like, ah, like that. My internal is actually screaming. But I really try to not to put that face. Like I'm someone that who can't hide. Okay, I'm that honest that
Oh.
everything is on my face, and I'm like, I'm trying to control my tongue and all of those, but it's just so hard. So, what are some of the tools that you can share with moms to stop that yelling cycle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And yes, I totally get you with the mess. It's a thing. Yeah. So what I would say, and I'll give you one of the tools about mess that I use quite a lot. And it's, so if I've come into the room and there's mess all over the floor, or people have left mess from like eating, instead of saying like, you've left a mess, like, who's going to clean this up, we go into this big long rant, just saying something like, using an I message that's saying, when I come into a room and I see this big mess, I get really frustrated because I can't enjoy my space. And so it's giving you a chance to say what you're actually feeling, instead of putting blame or shame on your child to go, clean this up, you're being a mess. It's, instead of giving those you messages, you're saying it from how you're actually feeling. Like, I'm not enjoying, I'm getting frustrated. This is how, is this thing is affecting me. This mess is affecting me. The other thing is, and I kind of spoke about it before, was having compassion. Like, if you have come in and done all those things and yelled at your kid and going, you're a slob, I can't believe you left all this mess, I'm going to have to clean it up all over again. Um, just take a moment, and you can do this midway through if you want. And I like to tell my clients, like, just put your hands on your heart space, take a few deep breaths. Even just doing that, it just calms you down a bit. If you want, some people don't like to talk to themselves, but I do. I just like to say, like, it's okay. We've made a mistake. It's going to be all right. We can start again. This isn't an emergency. Um, and just taking that just time to just come back into your body, instead of being like, everyone's like making life hard for me, because that's what we can kind of go into as well. So come back to you know, this they haven't done this deliberately. They're not out to get me, whatever kind of man, just because sometimes parents think, oh, this, they're just doing it on purpose. It's like, no, they're really not. They are not trying to deliberately push your buttons. So when we can get a bit of perspective, like, okay, yeah, yeah, this is just a normal, normal reaction. This is just a normal kid doing normal things, and my reaction to it is also completely normal. Um, that can help you not be so much in your head and in that yelling space.
Yeah.
Um, and the other thing I like to say, and this is not so much about yelling, but more before the yelling happens, is to do reflective listening with your child. So, for example, if it's the morning and your child's in bed and they're saying, like, I'm not getting up. And when you might usually go, well, too bad you have to, you're going to school, it's a school morning, or why don't you want to get up? What's wrong? Be like, doing reflective listening is saying, oh, sounds like you really don't want to get up. Like, and they might go, yeah, I really don't want to get up. I'm not going to get up. I'm like, okay. You seem like you're feeling like really, really passionate about not getting up this morning. Like, yeah, it's too cold, for example. They might say something like that. So if they say something like it's too cold, like, oh, well, I wonder if I gave you your clothes and you got changed under the covers, if that would make it easier for you to get up. Now, without doing reflective listening, if we're just gone straight into, well, too bad you're getting up, or what's wrong, we might never have come to that answer of them saying it's too cold and coming up with a solution down the track. Um, that's why reflective listening can be really good, because then people say, well, doesn't that take too long? And I'm like, well, it takes just as long to have a fight and an argument with them and try to force them out of bed, and it actually usually takes a lot longer when you're trying to force them than to just have a few back and forth, I'm noticing you're saying you don't want to get up. So what's that about? Yeah.
Mm. I think it's also having that patience to listen
Mm,
as well. Like I find that I have very short temper, like
yeah.
and it's not the kid. Like I keep analyzing it myself. It's
Mm.
not the kid. There's something wrong with me that's just getting short triggered on some reason. Can you like explain to us some like why are we feeling like that? Because when we realize that it's not our kid, we start blaming ourselves, and then all the guilt
Yeah.
will starting to come. So
Yeah.
yeah, can you like talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I 100% get you. I have a very short fuse as well. So, what it is, and you might think, why did I just all of a sudden start yelling then? Or why did I all of a sudden just get so snappy then? And apart from the usual, it can be hormones as well, especially, depending where we are in our cycle. Absolutely, you're going to get way more on edge during those times, but also noticing it wasn't just when that person did that thing, or it wasn't just when my kid said that. There were moments earlier in the day where something happened and you just thought, oh, I'll just let that go. Even though you were quite irritated by it, it was like, okay, that's no big deal. It's fine. Let it go. And then if a few of those moments happen throughout the day, and you've gone like you've just basically ignored them and haven't like acknowledged that actually I didn't actually like that at all. When it gets to then the last thing, it's like, the straw that broke the camel's back. You're like, ah, and you just explode because you like, I can't handle it anymore. I've done all this stuff. And this is what you see a lot in parents as well. They're like, they do all of these things for their children, and then their children might say something like, oh, I don't like this food, or can you do this for me? And you're like, can't you see everything I've already done for you today? Like, don't you understand? But they don't. They don't. And it's the same with our interactions with other people as well. Our partner, friends, like, but I did this. I sent you that message. I did this. So that's how I would recommend you start to notice, oh, I said that wasn't important, but actually it was. Or I thought I'll just let that go. It's fine. And so all those little build-ups start to happen. Yeah.
That's it. Like, we feel like that. Oh my God. Like, it's just the emotion of dealing with kids. Like, I always give my head off to parents. And like, I really don't know how you do it. You have a job, you have all of this, you have a kid that is running around doing their thing. We want them to have the most fun and being a kid. But like, we just can't try to keep ourselves sane. So if there was one more advice that you can give it to our parents out there, what would you give us to try to help us to stay away from the yelling cycle?
Yes, I would definitely say have compassion for yourself when you do yell. That's number one. Don't try to beat yourself up for yelling. And just start to notice where are you yelling? Like what's actually happened in all the moments that led to that. And once you can start to track that, you'll be able to have a bit more pause to go, oh, okay, that just happened now. Oh, I didn't actually like that. So connecting in with your body more is definitely a way to start to stop that yelling cycle. Yeah. Yeah. And even like I mentioned before, putting your hands on your heart just for a second, just for a moment,
Mm,
going, ah, oh, what's going on here?
mm.
It gives you that pause, and you have to practice it not in the moment before when things don't get, when things are good, practice it so that it's easier to do when things are like hitting the fan.
That is so true. So
Yeah.
tell us, how do people find you?
Yeah, yeah. So you can go to my website. So it's See Me Circle, which is See Me Circle, and it's at the bottom of the screen there.
Mm-hmm,
And I've got a Facebook page, and so you can connect me there. I offer one-on-one coaching if you're interested in doing that, and also in-person group coaching if you're in Melbourne, Australia.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's
That
all.
sounds wonderful. So thank you so much for your time today, Natalie, and sharing with us a very big issue that we have as parents, because I'm sure that we're all guilty of it. I yell with my cat as well, even though she will not understand what I'm talking about. But like, we just need to find a way to understand our emotion and know more about it. I would love to actually have you back more on our Knowledge is First Day, which is the Knowledge is Power, to actually teach us a bit more skill and tools and walk us through how do we actually manage our emotion when dealing with kids. I would love to invite you to back there onto our webinar today.
I would love that. Thank you. That sounds
Wonderful.
amazing.
Thank you so much again. And thank you for our audience and our listener for listening to today's Wisdom Wednesday, where we have guest speaker to come and support you in the things that you need. Thank you for giving us your time, and I look forward to seeing you next week.